The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
And this is the first edition of the Short Time Shots, where I'm actually recording from the Speakeasy Studio in wonderfully chilly New Brighton, Minnesota. Let's be clear, there's nothing wonderful about being chilly. That was sarcasm. Now I've got a sit-stand desk here that I'm working on improving my mobility around the house because I cannot sit in that stupid chair for 12 hours a day and expect anything good to come of it. Secondly, my desk is no longer in the corner of my bedroom, meaning I can actually walk around to my side of the bed. For 5 months, that was not possible. Now I've still got some things to do to complete this, mainly build a bar and put the rest of the stuff on the walls to complete the sound treatment. But all in all, I'm very happy with it so far. I'm also recording this again on Facebook Live just to see how things work with OBS, which is pretty cool. Minnesota Beer of the Night, which I am drinking for my Matt Talk draft class. It is black ale from Bent Paddle Brewing up in Duluth. If you've been to Duluth, you know it's freaking cold. This is 6%. It's dark and delicious. By the way, I am on Untappd. That is an app. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. If you do like craft beer and you know that app, I'm at Jason Bryant 12. New patron Kevin McGuigan jumps on board. He's been following and listening for quite a while now, as he's also sent me a shirt for the hashtag Wrestling Shirt a Day that I did in 2018. No, I'm never, ever, ever doing that again. Duel meets on Monday night, usually a light night for wrestling duels, but down in Carolina, that's North Carolina, Belmont Abbey used 4 falls to power past first year Mount Olive 34-19 in Division II action. Greg Hilliard registered the fastest fall of the night, picking up a fall in 34 seconds at 165. Kenn Caudell's squad, they are the Crusaders. They don't get a whole lot of mentions here on the show. They do now. They might be the logo of the night on the social media side of things. Division III, Cortland State went 3-0 as the Red Dragons, with apologies to Jason Ellis, beat Pitt-Bradford 35-18, beat Kings College 33-13, and beat host Lycoming 19-18. Lycoming beat Pitt-Bradford 42-18, and Kings 44-10. Pitt-Bradford beat Kings 22-16. Notables on the docket for Tuesday: Notre Dame College heads to take on the new program at Belmont State, which is in West Virginia, while NAIA Southern Oregon heads down the coast to take on San Francisco State, which is coached by 3-time Northwestern All-American Jason Welsh. In Division III, Huntington, that's in Alabama, in case you're wondering, they host a pair of NAIA schools, Life and Thomas More. Elizabeth Shue references all around the place, as always. In the NAIA, Missouri Valley hosts the MVC Duels in Marshall, which I understand is a nice community. Teams expected to compete there are Baker, Williams Baptist, Bethany, the one in Kansas, Campbellsville, Ottawa, the one in Kansas, Waldorf, St. Mary, the one in Kansas, William Penn, Lincoln, and Rochester, the one in Michigan. And, of course, the host Vikings of Moval. From the Daily Wrestling News, in a joint release, USA Wrestling and the Women's Collegiate Wrestling Coalition and Adrian College announced the first Cliff Keen National Collegiate Women's Wrestling Championships will be held at Adrian on March 6 and 7, 2020. This event will give the NCAA-branded schools an opportunity to compete in the postseason. There's already an NAIA invitational, but what this means for the long-standing WCWA, that remains to be seen. I've got some major plans for women's wrestling in the future as well. Brown and Harvard announced they were partnering to create the New England Regional Training Center, and they've hired Mike Eierman to be the head coach. Eierman, at least as of last week, was the head wrestling coach at Division III Westminster College in Missouri. Over the weekend, Fresno City College won its 4th straight California Community College State Championship, outdistancing second-place Cerritos 186-137. The Rams, that's Fresno City, are coached by 1991 NCAA champion Paul Keesaw. He's been on this show before. They had 4 champions. One notable came from Skyline College, which is in San Bruno, just south of San Francisco. Sophomore Stephen Martin became Skyline's first state champion in 19 years. The San Mateo Daily Journal breaks that down. Over the weekend, it was announced that Eastern Gateway Community College in Steubenville, Ohio, will be adding a varsity wrestling program. The school already had a baseball team and will also add women's volleyball. Don Mancini, a longtime high school coach at Boardman High School in Ohio, has been named the Gators, yes, the Gators' first head coach. That is 241 new college programs, men's and women's, since 2000. NC State hired a new director of operations, appointing Ian Assail to the role after the departure of Melissa Simmons. Normally, I don't draw attention to the director of ops things in the newsletter or here on the shots, but I wanted to give Melissa a solid salute and a verbal high five here. There are few people I've met in the sport of wrestling who are as complete and dedicated as Melissa Simmons. She's got an innate ability to do good things for people. When my daughter Lucy was in the hospital a couple years ago, and I'm not sure which time it was because Lucy's been in the hospital quite a bit through her 7 years, Melissa sent a gift package for Lucy with the stuffed mascot. Also some shirts for us, and that mascot Tuffy is one that Lucy still pals around with today. It's actually in her character bin with all her Lion King characters. Since she doesn't have any hyenas, Tuffy basically plays one of the roles of the hyenas for her little role play with her little, Simba and Kaya. I don't know. There's just there's so many freaking Lion King stuffed animals. Anyway, Melissa's moving out of wrestling, which sucks for us. I worked with her at USA Wrestling when she was an intern and with a client-vendor relationship with NC State with the Pack Mentality Pop-Ins podcast. No one has paid faster and no one has worked as diligently as her in this type of relationship. It's been a consistent with Melissa, and we're going to miss her in the sport of wrestling. I never had her on the show. Brian Reinhardt at Pack Mentality got her on the show once. Melissa ducked me for years, and I guess you're going to get away with it again. Melissa, good luck in everything you do. We're going to miss you in wrestling. WSAW in Wausau, Wisconsin features the women's program at UW Stevens Point. Good little feature there. Joe Toscano of the Observer Reporter in Pennsylvania, who was a finalist for the National Wrestling Media Association Journalist of the Year last year, pens a column about the new rule in Pennsylvania that allows more than one wrestler from a team to appear in bracketed tournaments around the state. Not really sure why PA was a late to the party kind of thing on this, because when I was wrestling, which was 20 years ago, and granted it wasn't for very long, but we'd have a 32-team tournament, and sometimes we'd get 2 or 3 guys in a weight. Only one would score, and usually I wasn't the second or third guy in the weight. Nothing new on the network today, but you can get to read those stories and more from Matt Talk Online's daily wrestling newsletter. Sign up for free at matttalkonline.com/news and get today's top wrestling stories from around the world delivered to your inbox for free every single morning. It's sponsored by Resolite. And if you'd like to support this show and all of the on-demand audio offerings, free newsletters, historical research, you can support this program and the network by making a small monthly contribution or one-time donation by going to matttalkonline.com/join the team. Venmo, PayPal, buymeacoffee.com, or Patreon. The perk with Patreon are those monthly contributions. You get cool things like the branded shirts, this little draft glass, for example, T-shirts, digital preview guides, shout-outs on the show, a guest spot, pitch your idea, you name it for short time. So those are the things you get with your patronage. And remember, I always screw up the ending here now. That I've got a catchphrase and all that stuff, but I can't quite nail it. Also, the new hats are in from Cliff Fretwell and Compound Sportswear. They are proud outfitters of this program, and they do an awesome job. You need something, call it Cliff and the Crew, like the normal Short Time tells you to do each and every day. I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me in my new studio, because you've always got time for Short Time.